We're back at you. I am Jackie Wolf. This is the Wolf Express. You're going to get two of us today. My brother. Yes, we are Hillary and Bill Clinton's worst nightmare. Probably Obama's too. Because we are brother and sister. We have different mother, but baby, we got the same father. And our father is awesome. So what I'm calling for today is the dry bones. If you know what I'm talking about, Christians, this is to you. I awaken the dry bones in America. I ask God to breathe on the dry bones. Awaken warriors of God. Awaken warriors of Christ. This is the time for us truly to be alive. This is my brother Eli. Is that it? You gonna say hi? What's wrong with you?
I'm Eli.
Yeah, I'm like I can hit you in the head or something. I'm already gonna hit you. My sign is perfect for today. How do we stop a woman from destroying the greatest country in the world, whose only purpose is to take down the United States and the Christians, believe it or not? This woman has got a trail of death. I mean, this is like a death. I don't know, she's like the Grand Reaper or something. I mean, everything from Arkansas to now just dies or come up dead or suicide by 4 shots to the back of the head. I mean, come on, people, come on. We cannot be that dumb. But my greatest one is this. I want you to see that. This is the Benghazi 4. Never, ever, ever forget these people. Never. Hillary Clinton allowed these 4 gentlemen to die. She watched them on a remote control, whatever you want to call it, in the room, and everyone's watching it from live feed. Now, I want you to think about this. If this was your brother, this was your uncle, this was your cousin, this is your family, and here this woman, no Margaret Thatcher, by the way, whatever the hell she is, she's watching these men fight for their lives. These 4 are fighting. I mean, blood's dripping, curdling. I mean, they are fighting for their freaking lives. And she's watching them. And she never sent backup. Don't allow her lies to get to you. She never sent backup. If that was your brother, baby, you know you wanted backup. But the lie just keeps going. Because nor does she allow them to die. When they came home in a coffin, draped with the American flag, a mother sits there, full of tears, rolling down her face. Hillary Clinton lies to her. Not only Hillary, Bill, the whole freaking administration lies and said it was a video. See, I'm afraid my blackness, or my Indian, or my German, or Irish, whatever you want to call it, would have got the best of me. What do I mean? I don't know if I could have held it like that woman. That woman had some, maybe she had class, because I think I would have popped her. I just would have hit her in the head. Just pop her.
Just one time.
Just one time. Just get her real good, you know. Let her fall out and have another concussion. Because you lied. My son is in a coffin, and you're lying to me. I can't grasp that. As a woman, you give birth to a child. You send it off and you prepare it for life. You do not prepare to see it in a coffin. And then the Secretary of State lying, the President of the United States lying. You don't expect it. You just don't expect it. And that, to me, is the worst crime you could ever do to any human being, any mother. But go ahead.
And just think about and put yourself in the place of these 4 men right here, as they're sitting there fighting for their lives, trying to kill every bad guy that comes in that door. And just think about what they're thinking. They are sitting there hoping and praying for somebody to come in and help them. And they're sitting there, why isn't anybody coming to help me? Just think about that. If you were sitting there fighting for your lives, and you're just, the only thought that you can have is, why isn't somebody helping me? Why isn't somebody coming to save me? Because she didn't want to. She didn't care.
She didn't care. Because the real truth is why they were really there. And that's the key word. It's all a lie. And America needs to understand that this administration has been on an apology tour ever since Barack Obama got into office. He's been kissing the ass of every Muslim country known to man. And we have been lagging behind ever since. The blood of the Christians in Syria, the blood of the Christians in Iraq, the blood of the Christians in Egypt, the blood of the Christians in Libya is on the hand of the U.S. government. Not on my hands, on their hands. And they got a lot to answer for. Because let me tell you, when you meet Jesus, I don't know if you're going to meet him, but if you do, he's going to ask you, what did you do for your brother? And the answer is going to be, I watched him die. That's a good answer. I'm sure he's going to be very helpful in that one. But these are just some of the people that you know about. I want you to look at this board. These are some, and I'm going to turn the board over. And these are some other people that you do not know. And here are some names I want you to understand. Go ahead and say it. Read some of the people's names.
So we have John Asher, who is a former United States General Assembly president. He died June 22nd of 2016. Initially, it was reported as having died from a heart attack. However, John's throat had obviously been crushed. At this point, the official story changed to him accidentally dropping a barbell on his own throat. The plot gets a little bit thicker as he was exercising in a fatality. He was exercising a fatality from the TV series Columbo?
Yeah, they're saying it looks like.
Asher was actually about to begin trial for bribery charges involving a Chinese businessman, N.G. Lap Singh, who had been implicated but not charged in the 1996 Chinagate for funneling illegal donations to Bill Clinton's re-election fund. Another person on this board, Michael Hastings.
I want to say, pow, Clinton, Chinagate. You remember China, don't you? Okay, I want you to think about this. The same Chinese gate. Think about this. Let's go to 2016, how much she loved black people. Do you know that China bought the biggest chicken producing farm in America? I want you to think about this, America. They buy the chicken. The chickens are produced here, cut here, everything produced here, everything clean, cut, everything. And then we ship them to China. Do you think we get the same chickens back? Now, how many know that that's one of the staples in a black person's meal is chicken? I'm going to say it. The bitch is trying to poison us. I'm going to say it right now because you know it ain't the same damn chicken. That chicken is not the American chicken we're getting back. We're getting some funky-ass China chicken.
Also, John Ash was actually scheduled to testify about Hillary's link to Mr. N.G. Lap Singh that same day he died.
Yeah. It smells a little chickadee to me.
Not fishy.
No, chickadee.
Yeah. Another name, Michael Hastings, who was a journalist from the Rolling Stones, died June 8th, 2013. Michael died in a highly suspicious single car accident. He had told friends that he was afraid for his life following stories he had written which were critical of Secretary Hillary Clinton. One of the emails leaked during the 2016 Democratic Convention confirmed that Hillary had received Hastings' damning investigation reports of the attack on Benghazi, consulting 5 months before his death.
Bam! Again.
The
Clintons.
Another man, Sean Lucas, who was an attorney and died August 2nd of 2016. Sean Lucas, filmmaker Ricardo Villalba served the Democratic National Convention Service Corps, and chairperson Debbie Waxman-Schultz as Democratic National Headquarters in Washington, D.C.
We all know how Debbie feels about black folks. Let me tell you something real quickly, my friends. Now, Hillary has put herself around people. If I hung around with the KKK, my views are going to be just like the KKK. But we already know how Debbie feels about black folks. You guys need to get real. Them are the bunch of racist jackasses I have ever seen in my life. And there's no way that you can clear it up. The terrorist arm of the KKK, guess who started it, my black brother? Democrats. That is right. So you want to call the kettle black? You need to start calling the Democrats what they're, a bunch of racist lunatics. Go ahead.
Also, Mr. Sean Lucas was set to be named in a fraud class action lawsuit against the DNC on behalf of Bernie Sanders supporters. This was actually before WikiLeaks released documents proving that the DNC was working against Sanders' campaign during the 2016 primary. Sean was found dead by his girlfriend. He had been in perfect health and did not do any drugs. The authorities are refusing to disclose the cause of death, even after 3 weeks. Meanwhile, the DNC is trying to delay the lawsuit until after the November elections by saying Lucas did not properly serve the papers, with Lucas conveniently unable to testify on his own behalf.
Now, does anyone remember when Mrs. Clinton said, maybe I should send a drone over to knock out Julian Assange from WikiLeaks? Baby, she was not joking. If she could send a drone, pow!
Well, why can't we? Why not? Is what she said.
Why we can't take him out?
Why not? Why can't we
So she would rather take out Julian Assange than ISIS. Isn't that kind of crazy to you? I just thought I would mention it. Yeah. Hey, I don't know.
Another man, Joe Montano, was the chairman of the DNC and regional director for Tim Kaine before Debbie Wasserman Schultz. He died July 25th of 2016. Supposedly he died of a heart attack right after the WikiLeaks email dump proving the DNC had workers to sabotage Bernie Sanders and hand the nomination to Hillary Clinton.
Wow.
Another name, Seth Conrad Richard, who was shot several times in the back, a block from his own home. The police declared it a robbery gone bad, but nothing had been taken. His watch, his wallet, and his cell phone were still on him. One possible motive for his assassination lies within the WikiLeaks dumps of 20,000 DNC emails, which proved the DNC was rigging the primaries to favor Hillary. The scandal forced the DNC chair to resign. Although Hillary's people tried to portray this as a hack by Russia to cast Hillary as a victim of international intrigue, WikiLeaks will not identify the leaks and denied it was Russia and stated it was an internal leak. If Seth, who was in perfect position to acquire the data, were the leak, that would be ample motive for his murder, as warning to other insiders in the Democratic National Convention not to blow any whistles.
You know, folks, you got to really think about this. When you think of the Clintons, you don't think of WikiLeaks. You got to think of it in a more like a pipeline that just have all these mini leaks, and it's got holes in it. She's like a cockroach just slithering on the bottom of the earth, and it is horrible. And she is the Democratic nominee, and yet she wants to say Donald is a bad guy. Honey, there is no dead people behind Donald Trump.
Ain't no blood on his hands.
But these are just some. Now I want you to get the other list. This is just some of the list today in the 2016. Now let's just go over the deadly list. You see this? Do you see this, America? All of these people are dead. Not a single person is living. This is a body count. And I didn't even get them all. I did not get them all. There's only some of them. Can you imagine that? The mafia would be like, damn. John Gotti would be like, shoo, man. Cement shoes ain't got nothing on me. It'd be like Training Day all over again. Imagine that even the gangs couldn't be this happy. I mean, there's a lot of dead people. And they go from Arkansas to the White House, to the Secretary of State, all behind the Clintons. Think it, let's see, how many people died behind Donald Trump? Let me take a guess. Oh, I know, 0. 0. Let's see, yes, I'm adding them together. Yeah, how many businesses have Hillary? 0. She hasn't did 0. Yeah, okay, that's a big 0. She hasn't started anything. Yeah. Let's see. How many people have she helped? 0. Because she's corrupt. She took money from Hayden. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't know about the deportations. We'll get to that later. We'll get to you black people who think she's so helpful to the black community. And you know, she just loves you black people in church. Praise the Lord! Praise the Lord! She couldn't find the Lord if it was in her hand, honey. That woman don't know Christ. You should know that even the devil can say that much. I'm a Christian. The devil can say that, folks. The devil can say that. Look at these people. Look at them. I wanted you to see their names. I want you to understand that they're real. These are not fake people. One woman was 7.5 months pregnant. One guy shot himself 3 times in the back of the head. I don't know. He missed the first 2 times and couldn't get it right.
Deemed suicide. How do you shoot yourself 3 times?
Evidently, you got a bad aim.
Very bad. He was determined.
He was determined to get rid of himself because he was so afraid of the Clintons. Bodyguards, dead. A chef, dead. What the hell can a chef do? I guess he's making up bad food.
When you're talking bad around the dinner table, what you got to take out? You got to take out the chef.
So bodyguards come up dead, chefs come up dead, Secret Service come up dead. I mean, it's just insane, folks. You're asking us to put her as the president of this country. Her last words was, she can't stand regular folks. Oh, I'm sorry. You become so refined that you can't stand regular Americans. Basically what you're saying is you hate all the flyaways. That means anything between the coast you can't stand. But guess what, Hillary? We don't like you either. Back at ya. Give us some names. Give us some stories.
So there's quite a few names on this list who are all connected to the Ives Henry death. A lot of people dying because of Ives Henry. So we've got Susan Coleman, a gunshot wound at 7.5 months, like Carla said. We've got Keith McCaskill, who had information on the Ives Henry death. He was stabbed to death in November 1988. We've got Gregory Collins. We've got Jeff Rhodes, who also had information on the death of Ives and Henry and McCaskill. His body was burned and found in a trash dumpster, and he also had died of a gunshot wound.
Was that suicide?
That was deemed suicide.
Okay, let me get this right. I shot myself in the head, then I came back alive and burnt myself alive and threw myself in a garbage can. Damn, I'm good. Ooh.
Also in the Ives Henry death, we've got James Millam. We've got Richard Winters, who was actually suspected in the deaths of Ives and Henry. He was killed in a robbery. We've got Jordan Kettleston, who also had information. He was found shot to death in the front seat of his pickup truck. Other names that we have on this list are, we got Paul Wiltshire. He was a lawyer who was investigating drug running out of Arkansas and was also sought to expose the October surprise. He was found in his Washington, D.C. apartment dead for unknown causes.
Wow.
We've got Ed Wiley, who was a part of the Clinton fundraiser. He died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound on November of 1993. His death came the same day his wife, Kathleen, was sexually assaulted in the White House by Bill Clinton. Interesting.
Way to go, Bill. Pedophile in the White House. You know what I think about them? It's like if I see an apple and the apple's rotten from the inside, that's what they are. They're rotten from the inside out. But I got news for you. You know, you can do all this killing and murdering and corrupt, but God sees everything, and He will have the last word. And I feel sorry for you, my friend, because your last word ain't going to be pretty.
Another person, Mary Mahoney, who was murdered at the Georgetown Starbucks coffee bar on July 4th of 1997. She was a former White House intern who worked with John Huang. Apparently, she knew Monica Lewinsky and her sexual encounters with Bill. Although not verified, it has been said that Lewinsky told Linda Tripp that she did not want to end up like Mrs. Mary Mahoney.
Dead! I wonder why they don't come out. Yeah, how they all end up.
You've got a man, Charles Miller, who was found dead of a gunshot wound to the head in a shallow pit about 300 yards from his ranch house. He had long served as executive vice president and member of the board of directors for a company called Altel, and was deeply involved in his own software engineering company until he died. Altel is the success to Jackson Stevens Systematics, the company that provided the software for the White House and Big Brother, the White House's database Big Brother, which was behind the administration's plan to develop the secret computer called the Clipper to bug every phone, fax, and email transmission in America.
Yeah.
And he died.
So now they're just nosy on top of it. When does it end, folks? When does it end?
You've got Carlos Gigliotti, who was found dead in his home just outside of Washington, D.C. in April of 2000. There was no sign of a break-in struggle at the firm of infrared technology where the badly decomposed body. Gigliotti, a thermal imaging analyst hired by the House Government Reform Committee to review tapes of the siege, said he determined the FBI fired shots on April of 1983.
I mean, guys,
These are just to name
these
some
are
of
just
the people.
these are just to name some of the people. And what we're trying to tell you, there's an elite going on. And that elite is progressive. You got progressives on the Republican side and on the Democrat side, and they're coming together to out Donald Trump. Why? Because he's the only person that can put food to butt. You better believe it, they want him out by any means necessary. Now, these are just a few names, so now we're going to take that away. Okay, so go ahead. Which one are you bringing up?
We got Martin Luther.
That's what I want.
Okay.
Everyone likes to sit back and do some quoting.
Love a good quote.
Now, I want to ask every black leader, every black person, every gangbanger, everyone who even utters his name, is this really his dream? Was it Martin Luther King's dream to have an abortion clinic on every corner? Was it his dream for us to abort 14 million babies? Was that his dream? See, because I think most of you forgot he was a reverend first, a man of God. So you keep taking that title away. Was it his intention for you to live in the ghettos? Was it his intention for you to be imprisoned? Was it his intention to have someone like Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton? You see, you guys like to think that the Clintons are for you. The Clintons were the first one to do 3 strikes and you're out. That locked up so many blacks. And you know what else it did for you? It also set forth the housing. It also set forth of many of you not being mother and father. Let me explain this to you in the basic sense of the word. The black community, after Martin Luther King, diminished. 2 things happened. When he died and when Malcolm X died, the black community went down. And the people who benefited the most from his death was the Democratic Party. I want you to think about that. And who else benefited from his death? Because Jesse Jackson wouldn't have been nothing if Martin Luther King would have been alive. I want you to understand what I'm saying. This is not his dream if he looks into the black community. Our community, I lived in a black community with my grandmother. And let me show you the difference between the community of the day and the community that I lived in. My aunt was married. I was a child. Her husband hit her. My grandmother, you can check see who's on there. My grandmother took me by the arm, had a shotgun in one arm, and the daughter was holding on to her. My feet never touched the ground. We went to the place where her husband was at. She walked into that place, and she looked my aunt's husband in the face and said these words: "This daughter, this woman you married, my daughter, I gave birth to." Raises her voice to my daughter. If you got a problem with my daughter, you come to me, because the next time you raise your hand, I'm going to shoot you where you are. She cocked the gun and she pointed at him. Do you understand what's coming out of my mouth? I will shoot you dead. This is my child. We took care of our own. Now let me tell you what happened to the man. We left. came home. What he had forgotten is where he was at. I was kin to 75% of the town. He forgot that. They beat his butt. He never laid a hand on my aunt again. See, we have forgotten how to take care of our women. We have forgotten how to take care of our men. We forgot how to raise men. What we're raising is punks. I said it, you're raising punks. Because my grandma tell you right now, you did crime, you pay it. She will take you down and put you in the jail. She got no qualms about it. You did it, you pay for it. That's the true Martin Luther King. Malcolm X. He thought you guys were being chumps. He was dead 2 days later. I wonder why. Democrat. Louis Farrakhan. Woo-hoo-hoo. He benefited from that death. But I want you to hear something. You guys give praise to the Democrat Party. You give praise to the Democrats. But it was the Democrats who voted no for the Civil Rights Movement. It was Al Gore's father who said no to the Civil Rights Movement. Let me give you another one. James Byrd, a member of the KKK, one of Hillary Clinton's heroes. Democrat for life, KKK forever. These are her heroes. Here's another one for you. Margaret Sanger. See, everyone's like to say, oh, Planned Parenthood. Do you even know who the hell she is? She had a Negro project. It was to exterminate all African Americans. And how can we do this? We do it by saying we're going to offer them health care, but we're going to make sure we put an abortion clinic on every corner so they can abort their children. Read what she says down there, Eli. Read it. I want you to read it.
It's not well known that a liberal icon, Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, was a eugenist and a racist. She wanted to improve the human race by discouraging the propagation of inferior people.
Black people!
She considered blacks to be inferior.
You're inferior!
She was popular with the KKK.
Nazis.
Which invited her to speak. She wrote to Dr. Clarence Gamble, who did not, we do not know, So she wrote to Clarence Gamble, we do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten out the idea of it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. We want to exterminate the Negro population.
This is Hillary Clinton's icon. And you want to know why she's so damn racist. Really? Do you honestly think she's still a woman of God? See, you guys need to get it right. You got mad at Donald Trump because he wants to deport and have borders. Here's one for you. You're going to love this one, my lovely friends. Bill Clinton deported black people in the 1990s. He deported Haitians, Trinidadians, all kinds of black people out of America. But let me tell you what he did do, nice and comfortable for you, so you will love this one to death. He imported 30,000 Muslims to St. Louis, Missouri. Scooted the blacks out, put the Muslim in.
Whose home did he put him in?
The blacks.
The blacks' home. Interesting.
He really loves you black folks. He just loves you to death. He just loves you to death. Oh, he loves you all right. To death. 3 strikes and you're out. You know how much money he made? The prison system. Let me give you a cue, my black brother. You are worth more in jail than you are out. Did you hear me? A black man is worth more in jail, in prison, than he is out of prison. I'll say it again. You are worth more to the Clintons. You're worth more to them in jail. Why? The prison system. Your 401ks are tied into the prison system. Ha! That's the proof right there. Go check it out. Your 401k's got something to do with the prison system. Look at the rise of the prison system with the 3 strikes and you're out. The black community was doing better off before the Clintons. We were better off. We had Black Wall Street. How many people know about that? You don't. They decided to put you in ghettos. So you went from a plantation that had shackles to a plantation that shackled the mind. And they kept you there. And they're keeping you there. And the blacks who are that are on the plantation today are keeping you. Let me ask you, how safe is your neighborhoods? Let's check out the crime in Chicago. What is it, 4,000 people dead so far? Democrat. All of the urban communities are run by Democrats. Your police, Democrats. Schools, Democrats. How well is that going for you? How is that suitable for you? How good is it? It's not, is it? But yet, as soon as Donald Trump goes and say, I want to give you a chance to have a different school system so your kids can get educated, you boo-hoo him. You need to rethink that for a second. Why are you boo-hooing him when he wants to give you a chance? Here's another one. All your jobs during Bill Clinton, all those easy jobs when you're out there doing auto mechanic, what was it, what was it, those jobs?
Manufacturing jobs?
All those jobs were in the urban cities. Yeah. Guess where they went? Overseas. And guess who did it? Bill Clinton. Want to know why your areas are so poor? Bill Clinton. You didn't do well, my brothers and sisters, because all those jobs that you knew, your father knew, all went overseas, and it left your neighborhood struggling badly. But then you got to look, 80 years, you're Democrat. You got the worst school, worst crime, abortion on every corner. The pastors are too afraid to speak because of 501c3. You need to get rid of it. What else? We got rape going on. Is there anything good going on, people? Somebody, give me A5, give me something in the urban cities. Because all I can see is there's nothing good going on. And here's what gets me. You got all these black hobnobbers. Yeah, that's what I call them, hobnobbers. Beyonce, the beehive, the beehive. How much money is she putting in the black community?
Has she started any schools?
Nah.
She built any houses?
Nah.
She giving them a free concert?
Yeah, well.
Maybe.
My point to you is this. They're all talk, my friends. And you need jobs. And they're not offering you any jobs. You need to look at who's going to offer you jobs. Hillary Clinton doesn't know what a job is, because guess what? For the last 30 years, guess who's been paying her? Taxpayer money. So she doesn't know what a job is. But they want to get mad at Bill Clinton. I mean, get mad at Donald Trump. My grandmother used to say, it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up. Get my point? How many times are they going to take the black community to get back up? You should be angry. You should be furious at the Democrats. They have put you in this situation, one that you can't get out of. And they don't care if you get out of it. They go to your churches once every 4 years. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Get the black vote. Yeah, I'm here. I get some hot sauce. You don't even know if she really likes you. Matter of fact, I know she doesn't like you. Have you heard some of the nice words Hillary Clinton has said about you? Have you seen some of the nice, beautiful words? There should be a sign over here. Yeah. I want you to read some of these nice, beautiful things that come out of her mouth. The way she thinks about Americans, the way she thinks about Christians. Read some of them, my brother.
April was a great month for Hillary's racism, as she also made a comment disparaging Native Americans. She said she had experience dealing with wild men when they get off the reservation. In essence, she said, Native Americans are savages who must be segregated from the rest of society.
Wow.
In April of this year, Hillary joined New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio on stage at a Democratic fundraiser for a scripted joke about how lazy black people are. The two liberals made reference to colored people's time, which
CP!
is a super racist way of saying black people are chronically tarded and lethargic.
Always late, can't be on time.
On a black radio show, Hillary pandered to black voters by claiming she always carries hot sauce in her purse. It was racist when Donald Trump pandered Hispanics by eating a taco bowl. But not racist when Hillary pandered blacks. How does that work out?
I want to know what hot sauce was. Was it tobacco sauce? Was it Louisiana?
Probably that chipotle sauce.
Nah, she didn't know what the hell she's talking about. Did you get the last one down there?
As First Lady, Hillary called young black men super predators, indicating that she thought all young black males were violent criminals. She also said we have to bring them to heel, like young blacks are the same as dogs. Despite thinking this was incredibly racist, blacks still supported her.
Turn around. Oh, it gets good. I got some more for you. Go ahead.
In 2005, Hillary said, "I'm adamantly against illegal immigration." She also, as a senator, voted to construct a wall between the U.S. and Mexico, considering the main proof of Trump's racism is that he opposes illegal immigration and wants to build a wall. Isn't it odd that Hillary gets off for having said the same thing?
Yeah.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't really that great,
Okay.
as she struggled to...
I don't even know how that could roll off of her mouth. See, this is what... All right. I got nothing.
Okay.
Every black person should be upset about this, but, you know, you're so refined and sedity that it doesn't bother you anymore because you got money. But every black person, I'm telling you right now, if you vote for Hillary Clinton, let me explain to you what's going to happen to your neighborhood. She now wants open border. All of South America can just come in. That means you won't have any jobs, no education, no welfare, because they're going to take it off. How you like me now? How you like me now, Angie Mama?
You guys always talk about education. Well, who's coming in and influxing our education system? Is there too many black kids in school right now? Is there too many white kids in school right now? Not here. Too many Mexican and illegals are coming in, and they are taking the educations away from your children, overpopulating schools and overpopulating classes, so that your child can't get a good education for free, and you're paying for it. If you're paying for it, don't you think your child should be the one getting the good education?
Well, here's another one. You know, no, we're gonna finish this out because I'm gonna let you see. Go ahead, read about Martin Luther King.
So, Hillary, and I quote, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't really that great, as she struggled to stop the Obama insurgency in 2008. The Democratic Party, Clinton tried to diminish Obama's credentials as a community organizer, which had led some to draw connections between him and Dr. King. Clinton argued that it was really a professional politician, President Lyndon Johnson, who made the difference. Dr. King's dream began to be realized when President Johnson passed the Civil Rights Bill.
Now, I want you guys to think about this. I'm going to say something that you will never hear me say. It is not a conversation that I would say. The person she's talking about, Lyndon B. Johnson, this is his words. I will have those niggas voting Democrats for the next 200 years. That's the guy who passed the bill. That's our favorite guy. Thought I would let you know. Okay.
So far, he's succeeded.
Yes, I think he has. Yep.
Is it maybe time to change that?
Yeah, I think it is.
In 1974, after Bill Clinton lost his bid for a Senate seat, Hillary lashed out at campaign manager Paul Frey, calling him a... I will not say the word. It's the F word. He said, "You F Jew bastard." That's Jew with a J.
Go, Hillary! You're just blacks, Jews, Indians, anybody else? Go ahead.
This outburst was actually viewed and confirmed by 3 people. So it definitely did happen.
Well, keep going.
While serving in the Senate, Hillary tried to make a joke that disparaged a civil rights icon and deemed all people from India. I love this quote. It's from Mahatma Gandhi. He ran a gas station down in St. Louis for a couple of years. Mr. Gandhi, do you still go to the gas station? Asked Clinton.
Keep it going, Clinton. You were good. Good Good girl. Yeah, keep that racism alive.
Also, during the 2008 presidential race, Hillary's husband Bill said that this of Obama. A few years ago, this guy would be getting our coffee.
Hop to that, your mama.
Hillary didn't say this one, but her husband did, and she certainly didn't disapprove.
Like I said, these are some of the nice things that this is who you guys want to elect. Want to elect. And she's still saying things today. Today she says, where's my other list? Because I got another list out here somewhere. I got another list of things that she just loves to say about Christians. It's got to be somewhere. I hope I can find it.
I thought that was in there.
No, that's not that one. That's the money one. See about the other one behind. There's another list I have that she was talking about Christians. And evidently I must have left that board. But anyway, she talked about Christians. And basically what she said was, maybe it's back here. Is it back here? Yeah. Oh, here it is. It's in the back of this one.
Double-sided.
Yeah, forgot about it. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to get everything on here for you. Go right ahead.
So the Clinton team admits Hillary has begun to hate everyday Americans.
Okay, so let me explain to you what that means. Everyday Americans. So anyone between California and New York, she hates you. Sorry to let you know that. Because, see, you're everyday. You're not refined. You're just everyday Americans. So let me see. That would mean Christian blacks, Christian Hispanics, especially Christians. That would consider patriots, Second Amendment people. Good God, that'd be 99%. Oh, that's right. We're the deplorable. Deplorable and irredeemable.
She likes the 1%.
Ah, there you go. Go ahead.
Hillary, in leaked emails, said Saudi Arabia was directly fundraising ISIS. They also gave $25 million to the Clinton Foundation. So they're funding ISIS, and they're funding Hillary?
Yeah. No wonder they don't want to touch ISIS.
Ah, she's gonna destroy ISIS.
Let me just ask you, just one question. What Muslim country is afraid of Hillary Clinton? Especially when they're having her back pocket. Just thought I would share that. Go ahead, next.
Hillary Clinton accused of comparing Christian believers to Islamic terrorists like ISIS. So
All right.
Christians are like ISIS.
So I guess Catholics, Mormons, evangelicals, Orthodox, Methodists. Guess what? Welcome to the family of terrorists.
Terrorists.
We are terrorist friendly. We have the heart of Christ, and we haven't chopped off anyone's head, but we are terrorists to Hillary Clinton. Thank you. I would wear that crown lightly because my halo is just fine. I don't mind being called that by her because let me tell you, I'm in good company. That means she doesn't like Christ. And let me tell you something, Miss Hillary, something you better read your Bible back. You grieve the Holy Spirit. Now think about that one, because what did God say? When you grieve the Holy Spirit, something's going down, and you're grieving Him. You just called Jesus a terrorist. Thought I would share that with you.
Apparently Christians kill by love as opposed to by terrorist actions. Okay. So Hillary Clinton, Christians are bigoted and deplorable. Religious liberty, code for discrimination.
What can we say? I have no words.
Speaks for itself.
Yeah, I just think it speaks for itself. Oh, one more. Got to get this one in there.
Hillary Clinton just said that Christians must deny their faith through the enforcement of laws by stating that the Christian belief in being pro-life and anti-abortion must change, and that this should be done through laws and political will. If Christians must change Christian teachings in regards to abortion, then what Hillary Clinton is essentially saying is that Christians must deny their faith. Hillary Clinton, speaking at to the women in the World Summit on April 23rd, made those exact statements.
Let me make this very clear to you, Miss Hillary. I will never, ever deny Christ. You can, all you want. And all you so-called Democrats, Christians can, if you like. But this is one brother and sister team that would never deny him. Because he lives in me, baby. And he works mighty good. He's good all the time. Think about that, Miss Hillary. You're gonna have a lot to answer for. And if you don't answer for it, guess what? Your kids will. Your grandkids. Oh.
Generations.
All right, so it's your turn. What you gonna be talking about?
You want to wait for that one?
Yep.
Okay.
So what you gonna bring up, my brother?
So I think we should continue on the lines of our Christian faith,
Okay.
and we talked about how Hillary is in bed with the Muslims. What Muslim country fears Hillary? None of them.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. I can't imagine them fearing her.
How many countries have she done deals with, like Saudi Arabia giving her money to the Clinton Foundation? She was a part of the Iran deal in getting Iran all that billions of dollars of money.
Turkey.
Her and Obama were in with Egypt in getting the Muslim Brotherhood elected in Egypt. She's in bed with the Muslims. And so I ask every single Christian out there, can you be for both Muslims and Christians? Can you stand for both? Can you stand for liberty and justice and see yourself standing with Islam? One of the things that many people know is Hillary's top advisor, Uma Abedin. There's many speculations that she is, well, we know she's related to some people, but people say they haven't had official ties to her relation to Muslim Brotherhood. But as it turns out, Miss Uma Abedin herself is directly connected to Abdullah Omar Nassif, who is a major Muslim Brotherhood figure involved in the financing of Al-Qaeda. Who else funds Al-Qaeda? And apparently now ISIS.
Saudi Arabia.
So she's in with Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia is funding ISIS. Saudi Arabia is funding Al-Qaeda. If you had any dignity, if you had any morals, if you had any belief that this country was the country you wanted to represent, how could you be taking money from somebody who supports these things? And her top advisor is connected directly to this man who is directly connected with funding Al-Qaeda. Not only is this, Mr. Nassif, who is actually is also a part of the Institute for Muslim Minority Affairs. So Abedin worked with him for a number of years at the Institute for Muslim Minority Affairs as an assistant editor to the journal. Nassif, who remained active for decades, overlapped for several years while she was working there. Nassif was also Secretary General of the Muslim World League in Saudi Arabia, which is what is a very significant Muslim Brotherhood organization. In that connection, he founded the Robita Trust, which is formally designated as a foreign terrorist organization under American law due to its support of Al-Qaeda. So Hillary Clinton is related in connection with Uma Abedin. Uma Abedin is in related connection to Mr. Omar Nassif, who is the founder of an organization that by law is deemed a terrorist organization.
And she's that close to Hillary Clinton.
And she's right next to Hillary Clinton.
And
all day, every day.
And it was said that she would love to make her Secretary of State if she ever, like hell, is what I got to say, like hell. Folks, the reason why we are mentioning these things is because it's time we wake up. We have two options. Someone who don't give a damn about America, someone who don't care about America. The only thing she cares about is money. Show me that money. That's the only thing she cares about. She don't care about you. She don't care about me. She don't care about Bill. She don't care about anything but the greenbacks, baby. Keep that money coming. And it shows. It really shows. Because every time we turn around, there's more coming out about it. I mean, from the WikiLeaks, I'm like, oh my God.
WikiLeaks is going to be releasing something every day.
Every day. I mean, every day. You think about this. I mean, man, her emails, if you know the stuff that he's talking about, we all be in prison. But this is really good because the Muslim Brotherhood, if you don't know by now, check out how they killed Christians. I want you to think about that. They threw gay people off the building to see if they could fly. Now you should think about that. In Egypt, Christians have to have an identity card. Now think about that. That's like the Star of David, isn't it? Like the Nazis. And they have to pay a special tax. Wow, that's like the Nazis. Or you can convert. Well, that's not like the Nazis, because the Nazis wouldn't allow the Jews to convert. You kill them. Huh, imagine that. Muslim Brotherhood, Nazis. Muslim Brotherhood, Nazis. I don't know. And then you got Hillary Clinton. Smell a little funny to me.
And did you ever hear Hillary Clinton come out and condemn those acts in Egypt of them throwing gay people off of the roofs?
Nope.
Did the Obama administration come out and say that they...
Nope.
Nope. So how are they for the gay community? How are they for women's rights when they allow these things to happen?
And here's another thing you should know about. The Christian Coptics that are in Egypt, they are kidnapping the women, the girls, raping them, and forcing them to marry them. I want you to think about that. And yet, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and Obama thinks they're Christians. How could you be a Christian and allow that to happen to your brother and sister? I'm saying you got a lot to answer for, my friend. That's one of them.
So I'm sure you guys are thinking, oh yeah, big deal. So Uma Abedin is related to Muslim Brotherhood, and what does that have to do with me? What does that have to do with her policy making? Does it really affect anything that she does on the White House? Well, yes, it does. And I happen to have proof. So, in 2010, Miss Hillary Clinton overturned standing policy to approve the admission into the United States one of the Muslim Brotherhood's top operatives, Tariq Ramadan. Huh. Way to go. Hillary Clinton also personally approved the policy of formally engaging talks with the Muslim Brotherhood. Clinton played a leading role in developing and executing the Obama administration's initiative to bring the Muslim Brotherhood into power in Egypt, into Libya,
I wonder why. Oh,
and
to kill,
Syria.
I know why. To kill Christians.
Oh.
Because they don't like Christians. So you kill them. You give the Muslim Brotherhood the power to just wipe them out. Even though they were there long before Islam. We have forgotten that, haven't we? Islam did not come to 600 years after Christ. So these people have been there long before Christ. Long, long, long ago. You need to recognize Hillary Clinton is killing Christians. Be it by her selection of the Muslim Brotherhood. That you should know.
So other decisions she has decided to enact here in the United States because of her friends. Hillary Clinton is personally involved in advancing the Muslim Brotherhood and the Organization of Islamic Corporation agenda aimed at prohibiting defamation of Islam and its religion. On her watch, the United States supported and approved a UN Human Rights Council resolution for that very purpose. Clinton also has subsequently launched and presides over the Istanbul process to advance the implementation of Residual 1618, which calls for the criminalization of such defamation of Islam. And in July of 2011, she pledged that the United States would use some old-fashioned techniques of peer pressure and shaming so that people don't feel they have the support to do what they adore. The objection of restricting speech that offends Muslims was also explicitly served by the fraudulent men of Clinton, among other administration officials, promoting concerning Benghazi as a hateful online video. Disclosed emails have revealed that Uma Abedin and Rashad Hussain, the special envoy to the Organization of Islamic Corporation, were tasked with impressing upon the OIC that they were countering the dissemination of offensive materials. Hillary Clinton's State Department was involved in shutting down an investigation into the personnel and activities of Tablighi Jamaat, who was a missionary from Pakistan. His followers were responsible for the jihadi attacks in the San Bernardino attack in 2015. So Hillary Clinton is directly related to shutting down an investigation into this recent attack in 2015 in San Bernardino.
You know, America, this shouldn't be a surprise to you that she has a love for the Muslims. Because you know what? It goes back to Bill. And I'm going to prove that to you. I'm going to prove that to you. Right now, are you finished with that one?
Yep.
Okay, so what I want you to do is go online. Hand me my poster.
This one?
Yep. Oh, did one fall? Okay, I thought something fell off of it. Did it? Yeah, one did on the bottom. Now, what I want to talk to you about is this. The word, yeah. But more or less, what I really want to talk to you about is Bill. You see, there is a problem here. And I'm going to explain this to you. Serbia. A lot of people do not know what happened in Serbia. To please the Islamic world for our daily bombing of Iraq, President Clinton wanted to prove to the Muslim world that we would really care, and that we were willing to destroy a Christian people to prove it. Read that again. I want you to read that out loud again. The first part. Read it again.
To appease the Islamic world for our daily bombings of Iraq, President Clinton wanted to prove to the Muslim world that we really cared and that we were willing to destroy a Christian people to prove it.
That was Serbia, my friends.
Bombings in Serbia.
Now I want you to understand what I'm about to say to you. The Saudis wanted the first Islamic country in the belly of Europe, and the Clintons wanted cheap oil and Saudi money. The Saudi had signed a letter of intent to buy $6 billion worth of Boeing aircrafts the day after we bombed the Serbs in 1995, based on a self-inflicted mark placed a massacre by Bosnian Muslim, forced the Saudi sign on the dotted line. Finish reading that, my brother. The second one. Just go ahead and read it out. I want to prove some points there.
So phase 3 started with
Finish 2.
So the Saudis wanted the first Islamic country in the belly of Europe, and Clinton wanted cheap oil and Saudi money. So the Saudis had signed a letter of intent to buy $6 billion worth of Boeing aircraft the day after we bombed the Serbs in 1995. Based on the self-inflicted Markel Marketplace massacre of Bosnia, Muslims forced. The Saudis signed on the dotted line. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. This is what Yosef Bodansky, author of Bin Laden, the man who declared war on America, had to say in his 1995 book, Offensive in the Balkans.
Now, two things happened. And I want every American to understand what I'm about to tell you. The Clinton machine moved out blacks out of St. Louis, put in 30,000 Bosnian Muslims. This was during the 1995. I want you to hear me and hear me correctly on this. Today, a month ago, the UN, The Hague, had announced that the man that they had in the Serbian war for war crimes 10 years after his death was found not guilty. This is the freaking Hague. And this was done by Clinton. He spent his whole life in prison, died in prison, to find out that it was all a hoax. It wasn't real. Because the Clintons wanted to prove to Saudi Arabia that they would destroy a Christian nation on the backs of Muslims. But they never bothered to tell you this. They never tell you how Muslims destroyed Serbia. They never told you how they raped and murdered for years and generations. They never told you about the 500-year war. They never told you anything about the struggle. They didn't tell you that Serbia was in World War I with us and World War II. They sided with us over Germany. They didn't tell you any of that. But what they really didn't tell you is this. We unleashed all of our arsenal. We emptied our arsenal into a little tiny freaking country, into the schools, into the churches, and we contaminated the water, the fields, and everything around it. That is what Bill Clinton did for Christians. So don't you dare tell me he's a Christian, and don't you freaking tell me that Hillary is. They are not. They kill Christians all the freaking time, and that is your proof about it. They did it for money. And here we go again. Boeing. Read that out loud.
Boeing is one of the nation's biggest corporate tax dodgers, making over $20 billion in profits between 2008 and 2012, and paying an overall income tax rate of negative 1% during those years. Clinton cash author Peter Schweizer noted that after Secretary Clinton successfully lobbied the Russian government to enter into a $3.7 billion contract to buy a Boeing aircraft, the aerospace company gave the Clinton Foundation a hefty donation of $900,000.
So let me ask you this, America. Who has the connection with Russia? Who has it? Come on. Who has it? It's not Trump. It's Hillary. It's
He's
Hillary.
really in bed with Russia.
It's Hillary. And what did she give him? The Iranian out of America?
Yep.
Another one? It's Hillary. She's blaming this on Trump. But it's her. It's her. It's her. She's the wicked woman. It's her. And she's doing it, and you are allowing her to get away with it. You have anything on any questions on Facebook, anything?
No, you want me to ask you about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I ask you this because we let them get away with it once with Saudi Arabia tied to Serbia. And now they're getting away with it again. When do we have enough? When? Clintons are tied to everything that is wrong in this world. There's nothing righteous and right about them. I traveled through Yugoslavia before it was tore up and tore down. It was a beautiful country. But not after the Clintons got to it. But this, the fact that we signed something that was untrue, and remember at the time, he was being impeached because I did not have sex with that woman. The biggest conflict lie in the world. You had sex because Hillary wasn't giving it up. You got it from someone else. Sorry if that offends you women. Oh, and by the way, I got to come clean with you. All these women who are offended by Donald Trump's talk, you need to get real. I'm a woman, and let me tell you, we talk more about men's anatomy than crosses the T, baby. You put a woman in a male strip club, you're going to see some stuff, hear stuff you ain't never heard. Women in the locker room are some of the nastiest people you ever wanted to see. I was a rock musician. I have heard all the skip, scap, scope you can ever hear. Rap music has got some of the worst crap I've ever heard. So don't sit here and talk about, oh, this women is so refined. Bull crap. You ain't refined. If you see a stripper, you all like, ooh, baby, shake it like it's out. Ooh, let me see what you got. Let mama see what you're working with. You ain't that refined. You better recognize. That's all I'm saying. Anything online?
Not yet.
Any questions? Okay. So that's what I wanted you to hear about Boeing. All right, so take number one. You have number one over there, do you?
Yep.
Take number one.
All right, so General Electric,
Here we go.
$33.9 billion in U.S. profits, yet somehow got a $2.9 billion in refunds at the same time period. According to the book Clinton Cash, then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton lobbied the Algerian government for a GE power plant contract. After Algeria awarded the contract to GE, Jeffrey Lement, CEO of GE, gave a donation to the Clinton Foundation.
Show me the money. Show me the money. That's all this is about. Go on, hit number 3 down there.
Verizon Wireless.
Oh, I got a phone by them. I got a phone. Go ahead.
I'd like to give them up, but they just got such good coverage.
I know. What you gonna do?
In the 4 years between 2008 and 2012, Verizon pocketed over $30 billion in profits and paid a tax rate of a negative 1.8%. According to the CTJ, the Sanders campaign research claims that in 2012 alone, Verizon would have paid $630 million in income taxes had they been unable to stash U.S. profits in offshore tax havens. Verizon has been given $118,000 and $300,000 to the Clinton Foundation in recent years. And as Zaid Gilani reported in Alternet last year, Hillary Clinton is the favored candidate of numerous Verizon executives, many of whom have given the maximum donation to her 2016 efforts.
Really? Okay. Go ahead, hit me.
Number 4, Bank of America. In 2010, Bank of America got a whopping $1.9 billion refund from the IRS, despite making $4.4 billion in profits. And the Institute for Policy Studies reported that Bank of America has over 300 foreign subsidiaries in countries and territories universally known as tax havens, like the Cayman Islands and Bermuda.
No.
In his recent groundbreaking reports for The Intercept, Jillian reported that Bank of America paid Hillary Clinton $225,000 in speaking fees after her tenure as Secretary of State.
Let me ask you, for that amount of money, what do you think she's saying? I mean, come on, she ain't telling me show me your boobies, because I wouldn't want to see those. But I'm just saying, she ain't saying shake it like a sock, because you don't want to see that either. What is she getting that much money for? Access, pay to play. Give me your next one.
They got $1.9 billion in refunds from the IRS.
There you go. I can't even get $1.
Next one is Citigroup. Citigroup was the largest recipient of federal bailout money, getting an astonishing $2.5 trillion after the financial crisis, even though they played a major role in the financial meltdown. Citibank also paid $0 in federal income tax in 2010, despite making profits of in excess of $4 billion. Had the bank been unable to utilize offshore tax havens, it would have paid $11.5 billion in federal taxes in 2012.
So basically what you're saying, they didn't pay military or schools, anybody else. All right, hit me again.
According to the campaign finance database, OpenSecrets.org, Citigroup is Hillary Clinton's top donor, having given over $824,000 in campaign contributions throughout her political career.
Wow. Can't get much corrupt than that one. And yet she wants to, you think she's really going to slow down big business? Baby, you don't know the Hillary. Go ahead.
She's going to lobby for them, and she's going to pass new laws, right? That's going to
slow their money down?
Wall Street.
You got to be kidding. Go ahead.
That kind of goes back to her other statement in WikiLeaks, is that you got to have a political, you've got to, on your political ideas, you've got to have one that's public and one that's private. So when she's talking to the bank, she's saying one thing, but what she's saying to the other people is another.
This is the face. What I'm saying to the people, but what I'm saying to you is this. What she's saying to them is.
So number 6 is Pfizer. The Connecticut-based pharmaceutical giant is notorious for its tax avoidance strategies, paying $0 in federal income tax between 2010 and 2012, getting a $2.2 billion tax refund despite posting $43 billion in global profits.
And you want to talk about Trump? Woo! Go ahead.
Pfizer executives gave nearly $40,000 to Clinton's presidential campaign between April and September, and Pfizer itself has given between $1 million and $5 million to the Clinton Foundation, according to donor records obtained by the Washington Times.
Say that again, Hillary. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Oh, that's right. You ain't saying nothing. Go ahead.
FedEx. In 2011, FedEx made $2.7 billion in profit, yet they were given a $135 million tax refund from the IRS that same year. FedEx also received a $1 billion a year in corporate welfare from the U.S. Post Office, its chief competitor, to use its aircraft to transport U.S. mail.
What? Really?
So we gave them money
How does that
to
work?
use our airport? Huh.
All right.
Okay.
That,
Kind of backwards, don't you think?
okay, I got nothing on that one.
So FedEx is also given anywhere between $100,000 and $250,000 to the Clinton Foundation. The company was also one of 4 corporations to bundle a $2.5 million donation to Clinton's new diplomacy center. Boeing was the other.
Boeing.
Honeywell, despite making over $3 billion in combined profits between 2009 and 2010, Honeywell paid 0 in federal income taxes and got roughly $510 million in refunds. Honeywell, a prominent weapons manufacturer, also gave $50,000 to the Clinton Foundation while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. At the same time, Honeywell and other heads their weapons shipped. At the same time, Honeywell and others had their weapons shipped to countries blasted by international watchdog for their deplorable records on human rights.
I wonder where they got sent. Could it be Benghazi? Could it be that's why WikiLeaks just mentioned that they were there to get the weapons that they sold to try to get the other person before it got to, I don't know, say Syria? Falling into the wrong hands? Hillary? Don't know. Interesting, isn't it?
So next up is Merck. In 2009, Merck pocketed $5.7 billion in profit, yet paid 0 in federal income tax. Merck successfully got out of paying $18.6 billion in federal taxes in 2012 by stashing 53 billion of its U.S. profits in overseas tax havens. Merck donated between $250,000 and $500,000 to the Clinton Foundation after becoming a member of the Clinton Global Initiative in 2006. It also spent millions on lobbying the U.S. State Department during Hillary Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State. Last up is Corning. CTJ reports that between 2008 and 2012, Corning made over $3.4 billion in profits and got a $10 million tax refund, paying a 0.1% federal tax rate. They donated between $100,000 and $250,000 to the Clinton Foundation and paid to the former Secretary of State $225,000 in speaking fees after she announced her presidential campaign via U.S. Uncut.
I want you guys to understand why we mentioned these. Because they talked about Donald Trump, and he took a loss. Nothing in comparison to these. Warren Buffett took a loss. George Soros took a loss. Apple took a loss. You see, they don't want you to mention the liberal icons all took losses because that's how the tax code was written. Now, think about this for 1 second. OPEC, Saudi Arabia, gives a ton of money to Hillary. Saudi Arabia gives money to ISIS and gives money to Clintons. See anything wrong with that? Saudi Arabia gives money to terrorist groups. And yet, you don't see anything wrong with that. And the biggest terrorist is Hillary Clinton herself. Because she's profiting from the death of Christians. That is a moral dilemma. What's wrong?
No, we're good.
That is one hell of a moral dilemma. I don't know, when I think of Donald Trump's taxes, let me tell you, I don't give a flying fleet. I don't care if he never releases his tax returns. I don't give a damn what's on his tax return. I want to know what the man's going to do for me. His taxes are not going to do anything for me. He can give you a job. His tax returns cannot.
And for everybody out there who says, "Oh, but Donald Trump didn't pay taxes," but he did. He paid taxes because he employs tens of thousands of people. And guess what he has to pay? He has to pay payroll taxes. He's got to pay Social Security taxes, okay? They're not talking about the other taxes that he did pay. And just think about the tens of thousands of people he employs, and they have to pay income tax because he is able to provide them with jobs. You see, people, that's how it works. You employ people, they pay taxes. So even if you cut taxes to the rich, what do they do with that money? Well, they go out and they spend it on other people. They provide jobs for people, okay? So he's going to come in and he wants to cut taxes. He wants to cut regulations. And what that's going to do is it's going to give companies more money for them to reinvest. They're going to reinvest in building bigger properties. They're going to build bigger warehouses. They're going to buy new machines because their machines are so broken and old because they have been regulated to death that they can't buy a new machine. They're going to hire that extra person. Why? Because they have more money, because they have less taxes. What are they going to do? What do they do when they buy a new machine? Oh wait, they pay state taxes because they bought something. What happens when they hire a new employee? That new employee now is going to pay taxes. So in the end, as a country, we are going to be way more better off. We are going to be having an influx of money because we're going to have hundreds of thousands of more jobs, hundreds of thousands of more people paying income taxes. These companies are going to go out and they're going to be building new buildings. But what do you do when you build a new building? You have to hire a contractor. You have to buy wood. You have to buy the supplies. So all of this money, you think, oh, they're getting this tax cut. And what are they? They're not just holding on to it. They're not just putting it under their pillow for tomorrow. No, they're going out and they're spending it and they're reinvesting. What are they reinvesting in? They're reinvesting in you. They're reinvesting in this country because that's what companies do. That's why they need profit. They need profit so that they can reinvest it into this country, into the Americans.
Here's the problem I think most people don't get. So you're upset that you're losing your job. You know, you got the unions. I'm not a union person. I'm going to tell you right now, don't look to me for unions. I think unions can all go to hell. I'm not going to pay you money that I can do my damn self. So you can't talk to me. I can talk to my damn self. So let's just get that clear. But for me, when I look at what Donald can do for the black community or for any poor community, consider this. Hillary's own words said that I will shut down the coal. I got one better for you. Your favorite man, Mr. Harry Reid, during the Bundy episode. Now, what you didn't understand about the Bundy episode was what they were really after was Bundy land. Because what they wanted to do is turn that land into a solar plant run by China. And Harry Reid's son was the CEO. Imagine that, the CEO. Oh, that's right. Think about that. Here's another one. All these energy plants are closing up. Guess who's buying them? Saudi Arabia, China. And now they're going to buy them and they're going to sell the stuff back to us at a higher rate. Why? Obama. Yes, Obama, I said it. The crooked toad himself. You know, I was never a fan. I never voted for him, never will vote for him. I'm not a Marxist. I'm not a communist. I am an American. I'm a patriot. I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in this country more than most people. I've traveled around Europe. I've lived in Europe. I know the good of this country. And I tell you, there is no country like this. But here's the problem with that. There are problems here. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that it isn't. But here's the bigger problem. It's you. Because you won't open your eyes to see what the real problem and the real issues are. And it's people like Hillary Clinton. who wants to shut down and regulate everything to death. It should